Eish. Yeah, I've been reading on social media. A lot of people have been talking about his off the ball movement, and he was great. This, that, and the other. But I read a stat specifically that said out of 19 aerial duels, he won like 6. So for me, hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of The Corner Flag. And we are again at Isley Studios, where they can definitely lace you up on all of your visuals, music, instrumentals. If you're a media person, this is definitely where you should be, especially if you're in Pretoria. And you're back with your favorite host, Deshane, and we are talking Afcon again today. And yeah, we're going into the third round of fixtures. Very, very surprising results that we're seeing. There's some teams over there that we didn't think would be struggling and would be facing elimination so early. And there's some surprise inclusions up at the top as well. The Cape Verdes up in there. Equatorial Guineas are doing very, very well. So we're happy to see those. It does mean that, the quality or the standards in football is definitely like catching up from what used to be considered minnows to what is considered the big teams today. It is exciting to see what will happen, especially when you're looking at your big teams like Ghana, where they will be involved. Will be interesting to see if they'll land themselves a place in the round of 16. But it is looking kind of bleak on that side. Ivory Coast as well, also having a little bit of trouble, as well as Algeria. But they do still have enough quality, of course, to get themselves to the next round. And on the top side, of course, we will talk about your Cape Verdes. But for today's video, we will be focusing, of course, on Bafana Bafana facing Tunisia, another big team that is facing a lot of trouble. Didn't necessarily think they would be in this position, but we will have to see how those games turn out, of course. And Tunisia are currently in last place. I believe they're on, is it 1 or 2 points? I believe it's 1 point at this current point in time. They lost their first match and drew the second. And Bafana Bafana, of course, are in second position behind Mali, who are on 4 points. And Bafana Bafana, of course, getting their 3 points from their 4-0 thrashing of Namibia. So Namibia also still have it all to play for, of course, in third position, and they do still have 3 points based on the win that they had against Tunisia. So it is still a very, very open group. A lot could still happen, and there is still all to play for in this group. But Bafana, all they need is a draw to progress, and we'll have to see what happens on that side. Tunisia will be very, very, very motivated. They did lose their first game and they drew their second, so maybe they'll be thinking if they win, they get a win this time around. It might change the complexion of the group. Bafana Bafana will have a lot of confidence, of course, based on their performance. And Tambazwane is in tip-top form, so we'll be able to see what he brings to the game today. Pesita will maybe, hopefully, in the third game, he does score a penalty, but throughout the game and an open play, we'll hopefully be able to see a lot more of what he has to bring to the fold. Evidence Mahoba. Yeah, I've been reading on social media. A lot of people have been talking about his off the ball movement, and he was great. This, that, and the other. But I read a stat specifically that said out of 19 aerial duels, he won like 6. So for me, for a player that you brought strictly for winning aerial duels, that's not a very good statistic. Maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on the boy. But yeah, it is what it is for me. I still believe that we still need the best of the best to carry us over the line. Especially if you get through to the round of 16, where we are meeting legitimate competition, where we're facing strikers that do a little bit more than just off the ball movement, and so yeah, we'll have to see what that happens. In the midfield, Tabo Mokoena had a fantastic game, so we'll be counting on him to bust the midfield again. It'll be interesting to see if he goes with the combination of him and Spapelo Setolia, but based on the fact that they won, it might look like Bruce might just keep that as it is. So as in the center of the defense, of course, we looked at Tobim Vala coming in with Prantekan in the previous game, as opposed to how he played with Sianda Kulu in the first game. So he might go with that combination again. A lot of the core players were Sundowns players, so I think that helped with a lot of the synergy of the game. These guys were able to play a lot of combinations and they were familiar with each other. So there were only a few players that added to the lineup that went there. Your Evidence Mahopas, of course, that we're talking about, and your Pesitaos, even though he is historically a Sundowns player, so there is still that understanding that he has with players like Tambazwane that is benefiting us, of course. So if you're talking predictions, yeah, it's always a tough one with this one. But in the previous 2 predictions, I did get the result right, but I did get the score lines incorrect. So we'll see if we get the score lines correct this time. So I'm going to go with Tunisia is going to be a tough one. But I'm going with a 1-1. A 1-1 draw with this one. I think Bafana will probably score, and we might just shut it down, and Tunisia will have it all to play for. So I think we'll come away with a draw 1-1. But yeah, we'll see in a few hours after the match, and we'll discuss how it went, and we'll see if I was right this time around. But until next time, I'll see you again in the next episode of The Corner Flag.